Welcome to Shh, Tell Me Everything. Okay, hello everyone, and welcome today to another episode of Shh, Tell Me Everything. I am Christy Pack, the host, and I'm so excited today to have my friend Cade Parks with us. And I have asked Cade to come here and tell us one secret, share with us, teach us something in his life that has made all the difference. Cade is an entrepreneur. He's a small business owner. I actually met Cade by going through the drive-through of a soda shop, Twisted Sugar here in Pleasant View, Utah. And that's where I met Cade. And as you can probably assume, I'm a pretty avid Diet Coke drinker. And so I'm there frequently and have gotten to know Cade a little bit that way. And we've become friends and then done some different work projects together. But he is awesome. His energy is awesome. And he's just quite the entrepreneur. Like, I'm so impressed with Cade. I'm always wanting to know what Cade is doing because he's just involved in some really cool things. So Cade's here today, and I really can't wait to hear what he wants to share with us. And when I've talked to him, I said, Cade, it can be something about business, about family, about life. I don't care. Kelly taught us about Christmas. Okay, so what we're going to know one of these things. So Cade, if you'll just introduce yourself a little bit, because I really didn't do it justice, and then we'll want to hear the one secret that you're here to tell us.
Perfect. Hi, everyone. I'm Cade Parks. I'm 26 years old. I own two of the Twisted Sugars here in Utah. So I have the Pleasant View location and the Riverdale. I am just, I love working with people, so it worked out really great. Like, I love that I get to see, everyone every single day come through the drive-through. That's how I met Christy. She's one of the best parts of the day.
Every
I
day,
know,
right?
yes, I know it's going to be such a good morning as soon as she comes through.
Okay, so, and we've talked a little bit about this, but tell us, okay, you're 26, you own
Yeah.
these two franchise locations. It is so much work. How and when did you get on this path? Because that's pretty quick. I mean, like, whoa, you're 26
Yeah.
and this is what's happening to you right now.
y-
I want to say this is where you are, but it's also what's happening to you right now because
Right.
it's so much work. I know it is.
Oh, all day, every day, but I enjoy it. So I actually knew another franchise owner, and they were like, there's a few spots left in Utah. If this is something you're wanting to do, like, you need to do it now. And so I called up my parents and I was like, no bank will give me a loan. Like, nothing's
Because you're what,
working.
24? Like, I'm
I
not
was
sure I can get the car
23.
loan. Yeah, you're at
I was
23.
I
Yep.
was 23 at the time, and I was like, I am in college. Like, no one is going to give me a loan for what I need. And
Nope.
so my parents just invested in me, and here we are 3 years later.
And you're still there. And I mean, we talk about it every day. It is so much work, but we'll get back to that too. Welcome to being a business owner. How fun.
Yes.
They say, it's so great. You get to work whatever 90 hours a week you want. You get to choose. You
Right.
get to choose those 90
Correct.
hours a week and all of the things. Okay. So there's many things that Cade could teach us. And his story is really, really, really interesting. But Cade, I'm just dying to know, like, what is the secret that you're going to share with us today?
So this is going to sound like so cliche, but I don't think a lot of people live it to the fullest. And mine is uh, be yourself.
Hmm.
I, like, for 20 plus years, I did not live to who I really was. And I felt like it affected my life a lot in the more negative way. And like, since I'm just more of myself, and it's every relationship or like aspect of my life has grown so much better. My like relationship with my friends, families, business, stuff like that has just been through the roof. And so I think a lot of people are like so afraid and to be themselves. It's very vulnerable, and you have to be really confident in who you are as a person to like live true to yourself every single day.
When I think about it, 'cause it's like, okay, we live in these communities where like we're kind of engineered survival wise to fit in because that's, historically how you would survive. Like you
Yeah,
needed to be like the group. You needed to be whatever it needed to be to survive. And I feel like we're lucky to live in a time now where it's like, wait a minute, like we're all gonna be okay. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
no one's gonna be left outside the gates and like trampled to death, if you're not the exact same as the rest of the community. but that's a hard thing, especially like, okay, we live in Utah, like it's a very cultural, culturally not okay. We're getting better. I would say culturally homogenous. Like there's definitely a predominant culture, and although we're getting tons more diversity on its way, is what's happening. But like, I feel like we can kind of grow up in a little lane, right?
Correct.
And so like, what like, tell me a little bit more about that. Like, would you like, how did it change for you? How did you Well, did you know you weren't being yourself or living your true self?
Yeah.
Or did
And
it take time to figure that out? Yeah.
yeah, so I I knew, everything from a really young age. I knew I wasn't normal here in Utah, and I just tried to avoid it. And I was like, we'll continue on, I'll go to school, I'll move away. And I was just more nervous. I have a great friends and family, but growing up in Utah, it's always a little bit scary. Like, what if I'm not what everyone wants me
Yeah.
to be? And
And
Utah
what
culture,
if what I am isn't okay? You know what I mean? Like not just like,
yes,
okay, you don't like that I like this flavor of ice cream, fine, but like what if it's actually in your eyes bad? Like, oh no, like,
yes, and
yeah.
that's how it is. And I think a lot of the younger generation is way more open-minded.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I was absolutely terrified. And so I want to say I was around 20 years old, and I was having like a full-blown midlife crisis at
Hmm.
20. And I am super active. Like, I'm out with friends every single night, and I like couldn't leave my house. And so my mom was like, "What's going on?" And I
Yeah,
was,
something is up. Something is up.
yeah, and I was like, I don't know." And, it was about a full month that I like could not leave my house. I'd like go to work, and the second I got off work, I like ran home. And so I ended up in the emergency room because I thought I was dying. Like, I
Yeah.
literally thought I was having a heart attack.
Hmm.
And I get there, and
We have a history of panic attacks in our family. It's like, oh, I understand these symptoms. Oh, yep,
yes, and I had I had never had one. And so I, busted
yeah.
to
Really
the
thought you're dying. Like,
emergency
totally, like your
room.
heart's gonna explode. Like I really am gonna die. Yeah.
I like caused a scene. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, I get all hooked up. They're like, your resting heart rate is 190. I'm like, yeah, I know. I can feel it.
I'm just,
But
just having a hard time.
yes. And so then, I talked with my mom and was like, I think it's just finally time that I live like my life to its true form.
Yeah.
And, like my mom knew, and I had friends that knew, but it was like more of like the distant family, and you just never know how people are going to take it. And I think there's a lot of stigma,
Well, and like,
there's
and you love the
always,
great stories of like, okay, and then like I told everybody, and everybody was so supportive and so wonderful. But like for all of those, there's also that jerk. You know what I mean? Like it's just
yes.
it's it's not gonna be all roses.
Oh,
Like,
well, and exactly like, because there were people that I lost.
yeah,
And it took me a long time to realize, like, I was like, did I lose them or did they lose me? And I was like,
I'm saying that one. I say totally that one. So,
and that's probably really bad, but like, I haven't noticed that they're gone
yeah.
because the love and support I have from my friends and family. And I don't, if, they don't align with me, there's no need to have negativity in my life.
Well, and like the older I get, and hopefully a little more mature as I'm trying to plod along, like the more I realize, like we are all different, and having these expectations on people of what other people should be, like, oh, what a waste of energy. What a period. Like pick the avenue of life that we're different. Like to even be worried and or put energy
Yeah.
towards this person should be this and they're not. Like that's to me is just such a waste. Like I don't want to
eh,
waste my life trying to think about that for anybody. Like no.
right. Yeah, but it like literally consumed my life.
Yeah.
Like, I was so terrified that I was like, am I gonna be like axed out of my community? Like, because especially I live in, it's like a little farm town. and people there, they're all, we love all the farmers, but, a lot of them have very, very strong beliefs. But I feel like I've opened up the doors,
Yeah.
especially with them and that kind of stuff. Like, I have really, really great relationships with people who I was absolutely terrified
Yeah.
for them to find out.
Well, and I appreciate so much sometimes some of these people in my life, and we go through things where it's like, okay, sometimes we could just leave and just be around the people that are just like us, and that is maybe going to be easier. And sometimes I mean, it's different for everybody. That's the healthy situation. Like, that's what has to be done.
Yeah.
I've appreciated the people in my life who have stayed and helped open the door for me. You know what I mean? Like, that they could have just left. You know what I mean? But like,
Yeah.
but now, like, I have a greater, I'm more understanding, more learning to understand people more, to accept people more, to, I mean, all these, again, we were raised in like this little box. Like,
Yeah.
this is literally our cute little box. I remember it being so, even that, like, back, like, we hear about things even in like high school, like, okay, the civil rights movement and discrimination. And to me, that was like, that is such, just a thing of the past. Like, we love
Yeah.
everybody here. There's nobody, but looking back, and that's really how I thought. I was like, no, I don't dislike or look down on any people. We're all the same. That's because we were all the same. I didn't,
Yes.
I didn't realize, like, it's just interesting, and like, we all have to learn. And so
Yes.
I've appreciated those who are helping to open doors, knowing that, like, it's not your job, and it's not your obligation, and you don't have to do that. You don't, but it makes an impact. And I'm sure I mean, you make an impact. You make an impact on people because, like, knowing
Thank
you is
you.
just wonderful. Like, it is. Like, you light up a life. Like I said, just these moments at Twisted Sugar through the drive-through, and like, man, I could be friends with this guy. Like, what's he doing? I want to do whatever Cade's doing. Like, sign me up.
Yes,
That's where I want to be.
and I feel like that's like my goal in life. Like, I want to be the person that makes everyone happy, because I think for so long I was unhappy, and I know what it really does to you. And so I want to be able to make you laugh and have fun and know that, like, when you're around me, you're going to be having a good time, and you don't have to worry that I'm judging you for whatever.
Yeah. Well, again, like, to what end? To what point? Like, for any of the, like, to judge it, but what's the point? Nothing.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm like,
ain't
I
nobody
don't
got time or
I
energy for that. Like,
correct. I'm like, I don't have time for it.
and most of the things about each of our lives, I don't want to know. And like, I'm not going to be able
Yeah.
to find out anyway. Like, you guys, we're all so bonkers, each one of us. Like,
Right.
like, there's that time. So as you were sharing that story, and I appreciate you being vulnerable, it reminded me there was a time when I was 19. I was 19. Okay, I was 19 and I just got to BYU, and I was sad because, like, I was by myself. I wasn't by myself, but like, I was super social in high school, a huge group of friends. Then I kind of got to BYU, and like, I didn't live on campus. I should have, and I felt like alone. Like, I'm just super
You just
alone,
felt
and
there.
I just felt there. And a lot of circumstances played into this, but eventually, like, I met this guy who was like super, to me, impressive, right? Like super impressive. And he proposed to me after like 6 weeks, and I said yes. And it wasn't to like even that I wanted to marry him, but it was like that I should. Like, everything
Yeah.
was the should. It was like he was all the things that it was supposed to be. And I'm supposed to find a husband. And here comes this guy. And he was student body president and captain of the basketball team. And he came from a really wealthy, prominent Mormon family. Like, was all of the things that were like at my
Yeah.
mind were like yeah.
Check
And so,
every
like,
box.
right. So, like, I keep going along. But what I found was, and well, I didn't find it. My family found it before I did. I truly became a different person. And I went from being like super outgoing and fun and awesome to like a withering,
Yeah.
like a shadow. And I mean, it sounds dramatic, but like, it was awful. Like, I really became not myself at all. And I became super anxious and super depressed. And well, I recognize it now. I don't think I knew that's what it was too. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
it was like I was trying so hard to fit and to make this choice. And it was like his parents would like call me into the office, and it's like we're having our interview with the dad, and it was just very interesting. And then everybody, I became very enveloped in his family, and they were all convinced that I was just having super bad anxiety, and I just needed to have all these treatments. I just have all these things done, and that's why I couldn't move forward, because I wasn't brave enough to recognize that, oh, the answer is just no. And I'm literally like going forward with something that's making me sick inside, but it's the right thing, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Like
right?
on paper, it is
On paper, it's
100% the
like
right
my
thing.
mom and my sister came down and they staged an intervention. They took me to like the hotel and they're just like, you can't do this. And I was like, I was 19. I just crying in the hot tub. Like, if I don't marry him, who will I ever marry? I mean, I'm 19. Like, come on. Like, just, but like my mind was so warped. And I bring this experience up because I just remember I finally called it off 2 weeks before the wedding. But even then I couldn't really call it off because like by the time after dating this person, like I had become like nothing. Like I couldn't do anything. Like I couldn't like all my power, all my normalness that I would have, my confidence, everything was just gone. Like I really believe like I don't know how like I changed so fast. Like it was so fast and I became almost like this little zombie version of me, right?
Yeah.
And like paralyzed by this idea of I should be doing this thing. And anyway, so but when finally we got it called off, here we go. And I thought I would cry forever. Like I said, I can't, I'll cry forever. Like I'll never stop crying. And like called it off. I cried that day for like an hour, like sobbed. And then like was never sad once after. Like not once. Like not for like a heartbeat, not even like for 2 seconds. Like there was no like scrolling through Facebook and oh what if no. Like it was like I started living my best life that ever was the second I walked out of that super dark situation that I thought was the right thing. That
Yeah.
actually was like, it just, and for somebody else, great. I think somebody else, and he did, he married somebody else, perfect. And I hope they're wonderfully happy together and she didn't lose her mind. Like
Right.
that too. But like this idea of, okay, I got to stop thinking about what it should be. And on the paper, it's this, and right. And I'm supposed to do these things because then wait a minute, this is my only life. I'm pretty sure this
Right.
is my life.
Right.
Like, and what do I want it to look like? And being so afraid of like, I'm going to ruin everything. And this step I'm doing now is going to ruin everything forever. Well, no, it didn't. You know
No.
what I mean? And actually it opened a door to like, what wonderful things could I be doing right now? You know what I mean? And it was like these things that like I wanted to do were framed as like, in their eyes, like so selfish. Like I wanted to go teach English abroad. I'd been planning on that before I met this dude. But like to their family, that was just, I'm so selfish and I'm so immature. I'm like, yeah, I'm so selfish and I'm so immature. I should just, you're right. I am
You're
selfish
right.
and
I
immature.
shouldn't go
You're right.
teach.
I
Yeah.
should probably repent about that and go take some medication. It's like, this was the way. No, that wasn't the way. It was like, oh, I was just making, that was in the bad situation. That was like, got to get the heck out of there and stop doing that.
But it's
Um,
so crazy how, like, you can get wrapped up and you're not
Yeah.
yourself real
Yeah.
quick without
Yeah.
even like realizing it. And that's what I think a lot of people don't realize that, or they do 20 years later.
Yes. Yeah. And I'm so happy that I mean, I'm sorry that you had to wait till 20. You know what I mean? I hate for any
Right.
years of this, but like I'm glad you weren't 50, or 60 or,
Yes.
and same thing. Like I'm glad I didn't try to stay married to that dude. Like that would have been a nightmare. Like, no, 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 no.
R-
Okay. So tell me about how it's been since you turned 20 and decide to live more and just be yourself more. Like
Yes.
what has that done for you? Like, tell me about it.
It's been great. Like, I feel like I've actually been able to date, I've had serious relationships, but like that's been great. But then also, I feel like on the teaching aspect of it, like I have, it's my grandma's sister. And to me, like growing up, she was really like another grandma to me. And I was so terrified of her reaction and her kids' reaction because, like, to me, they were like my other aunts and uncles, and I was just super close with them. And they've been like nothing but the best and have like advocated for me. And like, if anyone ever says anything, they're the first to shut it down. And like, it really has just been like 1,000 pounds have been lifted off my shoulders that day.
That makes me so happy. Makes me happy. The feeling reminds me of, so one time when I was on my mission, I served a mission in Russia and I ended up in a hospital because really it was just food poisoning, but here we are. I ended up in the hospital and they wouldn't let me go and there weren't doctors in this hospital. And they took all my clothes when I got there and locked them up somewhere else. And it was winter. So like I literally couldn't walk out the building because I didn't have shoes or clothes. but there's also no doctors here. I'm like, I shouldn't be here. I shouldn't be here. It's like, anyways, it's a long battle. Like, just let me out of the hospital. I'm actually not sick. I'm fine. But like, I'm being held captive. Let me
Yeah.
go. And finally, when I got out, I remember just like opening the door and it's like light was outside and it was like freedom and like this feeling of like, I'm not confined anymore. Like, I will be happy again for the rest of my life, no matter what happens, because I'm not
Yes.
there anymore. I'm not in that situation anymore.
Yeah. Like you felt that physically when you
Yeah.
opened it, and that was me emotionally. Like
Yeah.
that's exactly how it was. Like everything has been really, really good.
Well, and I think, and I kind of touched on this earlier, like there's just everybody's so different. And like we've all been in a box for a long time and we're doing a little bit better getting outside of the box, like being more accepting and things. But like we've seen this with dynamics in my family, in my husband's family. Like, okay, we're all just different. And if we're all trying to like agree with each other or each other's choices, we're never gonna like it's just
No.
like it's just
Yeah.
so to even waste any energy, you know what I mean? Like trying to judge somebody else at all, like we could go in circles forever.
Oh
Like
yeah.
forever again, because I just think we're all crazy. And once I've accepted that, it's like I guess there's two things. A, I think we're all crazy. And then I always just assume everybody likes me. Now I know everybody doesn't like me. I know that. Oh, I've got some haters out there. They're probably not listening to this. They're like, I definitely do. Right? Okay. So like, but there's no point of even wasting energy worrying about the people that don't like me. So it's like, listen, I think we're all nuts. So I have a little compassion for all of us because we're all a little crazy. And I'm going to assume everybody likes me. And if they don't, that's none of my business.
Right.
That's their problem. There's not even room in my life to worry about that.
Yeah. That's how I am. Like I love this is gonna sound not well, I mean, it's gonna sound a little bad, but I love being the center of attention. Like
Oh, but you're
I
fun. You're so
love
fun. You're meant to be. You
yes,
are meant
like
to be the
I
center of
love
attention.
like being in a group of people, and I love, making everyone laugh and having a good time. And so yeah, I love to sit and think, oh, everyone, I hope everyone likes me. But yeah, there's always gonna be the few that don't, but who cares? I don't have like we don't have time for it.
No, we don't have time for it. And it's like no matter what, somebody hates everybody. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
you're not alone. That you have people that can't stand you. Yeah, join the club. Like, I mean, really, like there's this.
Yeah.
No matter, you could be the most perfect thing. It wouldn't matter. It
Yep.
wouldn't matter. Somebody's gonna hate your guts.
Everyone always
Think
has
that you're the
haters.
worst. Think that you're the this and blah. All those different things. Oh, I'm glad we're on the same page with that. And you are so fun as the center of attention. It's just well, like leaning into your strengths. I also remember a class that I was at BYU was talking about, and it was actually life changing for me because growing up culturally for me, there was a lot of emphasis on you're going to identify your weaknesses and you're going to work on them and fix them. And so it's like, okay, which inherently, okay, I'm not saying that's a bad thought in general, but it's like, okay, you're going to
Yeah.
find the parts that aren't good and you're going to fix them. And you're going to always fix the bad things and fix the bad things. And then I went to a class by Susan Black, who's a prominent Mormon scholar, and she was brilliant, super, super brilliant. And it really did change my whole perspective because what she taught was, no, why on earth would you focus on your weaknesses? You wouldn't want to get out of bed. You'd be like the worst thing ever. Your whole life would be negative. Said, no, identify what you're good at and lean into that. And then naturally, things that you're not great at, if they need to, they'll fix themselves, but probably they're not a big deal. So instead of all this focus on, oh, all these things are wrong, and I better figure out how to fix these things that are wrong, what are the things that I actually want to do that I'm actually really good at? And stop worrying about the other ones and just dive into the stuff you're good at. And that
Yeah.
was another like big door opening for me of like, oh, okay. Because I was like got to do all the things. I'm a super by the book, straight A,
Yeah.
absolutely everything, It's like, or what if I don't worry about fixing stuff in theory that I think is wrong and I just focus on the awesome stuff that I love and the awesome stuff that I'm good at, and then,
Oh, yeah.
well, because then the momentum and the energy, can take you that way. But that was life changing. It's like a whole different mindset shift of like, wait a minute, like I don't have to be these other things. What am I? What am I naturally inclined to do? I'm naturally good at this. Okay, Kate, you are naturally good at the spotlight, and we love it, and it makes the world a better place. So you know what I mean? So like
Yes.
instead of trying to quiet it down, it's like no, like lean into those things that you are good at, that you naturally want to do, And I think
Yeah.
that's how we make this world a better place.
I think that was such a good lesson that she taught because everyone's always, you always focus on, what are your strengths and weaknesses? How are you going to fix your weaknesses? Like,
Nah, I'm
no,
not going
if
to do
you're,
that. Right? I'm
no,
just going to identify what I'm good at, and I'm going to do more of that.
right. And I'm going to excel way far with this.
Well, because, yeah, right? Like, and somebody else is going to be really good at the things that are my weaknesses, and they can go excel at those,
Right.
And
They can have them.
all those people that, like I said, they're not listening. The people that can't stand me, I'm sure, can't standing me even more. That's like, that was what I said to so I threw this big 40th birthday party that was so excited. And you're a part of it.
Yes.
So excited to have the party, but I kept thinking, man, those people who don't like me now, this is getting like 10 times it for them. Oh,
Well,
man, they would hate
they
me
missed
so
out
bad
on
after this party.
Yeah, they missed a good party though.
Right? They could have been
Yeah.
having fun if they weren't so focused on people they didn't like,
It was great.
I hope we do many, many more parties. Okay, so
Yeah.
Kate, any last words that you want to share with us? I'm kind of turn the time over to you. If there's any last minute things. Oh, and yeah, any last minute things you want to share?
I just say spread positivity. Like, there's no need to, hate or judge people for anything. Like, in the reality of life, no one has time for it.
Yeah.
It causes, like, why are you going to waste your time hating someone when you can spend that time loving someone else?
Mm-hmm. I love it. Here.
Thank you.
Where's my Diet Coke? Cheers.
Right.
I should have brought my Twisted Sugar Diet Coke and put it on display right now, like an 80s movie that has all the Coke or Pepsi products. That'd be great.
Yes.
But I will plug, Twisted Sugar in Riverdale or in Pleasant View. It is my go-to. These guys are the greatest. Although every day I'm like, okay, Cade, how do we get you out of this and have you just come build the empire with me? So I also want to, one of these days, I'm going to find a way to.
One of these days.
I know. If I just keep coming back for Diet Coke, so we keep talking about it, we'll find a way. Okay. But thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining us. And Cade, you're awesome. And
yes,
I appreciate
thank you,
all
everybody.
this. And we'll see you next time. Thank you for tuning in to an episode of Shh, Tell Me Everything. This podcast is proudly hosted by PackTax and produced by Techne Innovations. We drop new episodes 4 times a month, so be sure to subscribe and never miss out. See you next time, and keep those secrets coming.